Well, I'm back, guys. Excuse me. I wanted to do a video. It's kind of well, it's on two different subjects, but a little impromptu. About the only thing I've gotten done was I cleaned up the tubes and got the pins and the sockets cleaned up. That's about as far as I'm going to go right now. I'm kind of under the weather and taking some cold medicine to over counter to make me feel a little better, but it does kind of make me a little drowsy too at times, so I don't like messing with this kind of stuff when I'm doing that. But anyway, the first thing is I've never really talked about a whole lot, and that's about safety. And one thing in particular with this radio, and then something more in general. This switch here, this is your local and distant switch. It just, you probably can't see it. Maybe I can get some light on it, how it operates or how it's wired. But right down in there is the switch, and if I turn it, you can see that it's turned. Well, that connects straight through to the shaft. Now, under any other normal circumstances, it's a switch. But the problem with that switch is the fact, here's the switch right here. Well, there's that arm that you're turning, and it comes down here, comes across here, comes down through a little choke, which doesn't do anything as far as dropping voltage, and right to 135 volts. Now this is a line that's been giving me a little bit of troubles about running a little high, so there's a lot more than 135. There's about almost 200 volts on there. Now I want to talk about how this thing is powered, how I have powered. Have a standard isolation trap, or ISO-tap, isolation transformer right there, and this cord here, which is on the isolated side, feeds to the variac, and then through the variac, of course, I was hooked to the plug, which then again fed through another transformer, which again would further isolate things. Well, an interesting little thing happened to me was, and it's my fault for not even thinking, but I got so involved in what I was doing and what I was looking for and concerned with the voltages here and the the 5-volt supply and the other voltages here, and what was going on with the radio and trying to tuning and a whole 9 yards, that I went to reach for that switch. Now I wasn't touching anything on the radio, and yet other than just one hand grabbing that switch, and she got me. Just tingled a little bit, but it reminded me that pay attention to what you're doing. And then it made me start thinking about what actually happened. Now, you're probably wondering, how could I get shocked if I'm not touching any other part of the radio? Now, if I was touching like here and touch there, then that'd be one thing. But that's the only thing I touched was that. And the reason, yes, we're going through an isolation transformer and plus a second transformer, but I had this hooked up, the signal generator. And of course, to really operate anything that you're hooking up, you generally hook up your hot lead, the lead that feeds the signal, and then of course a ground, just like anything else. Well, this ground hooks into this chassis, which in turn hooks into one side of the line cord, which probably most likely in this case was plugged in right. It's not polarized, but probably hooked to the neutral, which is your white lead in your power line, which is also known as the grounded connector, and as opposed to grounding, that's your green or bare wire. But that goes back to your box, and it's grounded there, which is by a wire that is then connected to an 8-foot ground rod. Basically, the chassis should have been, at this point, with everything isolated out, should have been floating, so nothing should have shocked me. But this created a ground, and created a ground throughout everything, and connected the chassis to the ground plane of the whole house, of everything. And evidently there was just enough leakage through the floor, and I was just in stocking feet, so I didn't have no rubber shoes on at the time, and that was enough for me to get shocked. The point I want to make is not just this, but in any radio generally that you may be working on, and especially radios that don't have a transformer, that you would need the isolation transformer. And in order for that thing to work, any equipment you hook to it that is plugged into the wall, that can be very well grounded, you got to remember that now you have took the isolation away as far as ground is concerned. And at that point, you could be potentially in harm's way. So you want to be careful. And one other little thing too, and I've seen videos of this, people be working on a radio and they decide while it's still running and powered up, that they want to unsolder something. Maybe they did a temporary connection, or maybe whatever, and they want to unsolder something, and they'll take the soldering iron, and this soldering iron, this tip on most soldering irons of this nature is grounded. It hooks right to ground. Any soldering iron that has that label on it, ESD safe, the tip is grounded. So just remember that before you go poking around with a soldering iron on a live radio. So if you're using a digital voltmeter like this, it's battery powered, so it's not connecting up to anything. So you can connect this ground here and it's not connecting. But when you start hooking up signal generators or VTVMs that are plugged in the wall, or oscilloscopes, or any type of equipment, then you can effectively take away the isolation. So just be aware of that. And and when you're working on something and you're thinking about a problem or thinking about what you're doing as far as working on it, troubleshooting it, whatever, figuring out voltages or whatever, always keep in the back of your mind what else is going on with it. Now, that being said, that's enough on that. I've sung to the choir long enough. So, the other little thing that has nothing to do with radios, but has something to do with YouTube. As of yesterday, for some odd reason, the little deal here that says, the people that's in your circles, how many you're subscribed to and stuff, has disappeared on my page. You take someone else's page and pop it up. This little deal here used to always be on there, and it has disappeared. Now I don't know why. I don't know what kind of problem that may or may not be. I have not changed nothing. In fact, I stay away from trying to change too much, because with what happened with Steel City, poor Phil, scares the heck out of me. I don't like clicking on anything. So and this is Google Chrome. I've tried it on Internet Explorer, both of them, same thing. And so I don't, that's one little problem. The other little problem deals with the way I'm getting, well, or not getting at times, notifications of certain comments. And it's primarily from just 2 people, and I don't know why. And it's not all the time, it's just on some. But, you know, Art and Bobby, for some odd reason, for the last couple, 3, well, 4 videos, I think is when it finally started, I don't get all the notifications of if they write a comment to me or do something, you know, say something else, or you know, share my video or something. You know, I'll get some emails, and sometimes with the bell, but not all. And you know, it's kind of weird, because I guess I could understand it more if it was like not getting any anymore, but I get some of them. I don't get all of them. It's like Art, on one of his radios, I made a comment about something on there, and then he answered me back. I did not even get anything about the answer back, and it wasn't for the fact that I went to Google Plus and got looking around on here and stuff and actually seen it. I wouldn't have known that he made another comment back saying, you know, something else. And so I ended up, it was late, but I ended up making a comment. But I didn't get nothing. Nothing on the bell. Nothing on email or anything. But it doesn't happen all the time. Just once in a while. I mean, it's just on, like, it's almost like it picks and chooses. And only with you 2 guys. And as far as this, like I said, it was yesterday, it just disappeared. 1 minute it's there, next time I look at it, it's not there anymore. So, and I don't know. So, and one other little strange thing happened, which is, I don't know, has anything to do with this or not, but in the process of trying to figure out what happened here, I ended up, you know, opening up Internet Explorer and popping up my page, and it was totally different. Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal was. The whole layout was different. This was wider. These guys, this stuff was brought down. They had a button over here, and you clicked on it, and you actually had more selections than what you got here. Plus, you only had, like, down to about right here of subscriptions, but when you got down past that of my subscriptions, then it popped up in another window here that you could just scroll through. Plus, it had a help button up here. It was only on there for that one time. After I closed that window out and opened it back up, it was gone. So I have no idea what that was. So if anybody has any ideas, you know, just the only thing I could figure out, they had a little page that you could go to, and well, I could probably bring it up. I was looking at something else here. Let's see. Come. Yeah. They had this, and it's YouTube Help Gadgets, YouTube One Channel Design Migration Document. And that's the only thing that it was on that page when that was up, that it's, you know, you click on it, it took you to this, you know, it took you to here. So I don't know what that was. But anyway, I don't know if this means anything, this being gone. I haven't changed nothing. And I just want to make sure everybody's seeing my videos. Everybody knows about them and is able to comment on them and stuff. So anyway, if you guys have any ideas, you know, just let me know. I guess that's about it. Hopefully in a few days things will kind of straighten out here and I can get back to getting to work here and you know, see where we're at and making our video on this Atwater Kent and stuff. So anyway, thanks a lot, guys, and for everything, mainly your support and your comments and everything. And again, Merry Christmas. I know I said that on the last video, but anyway, I'll see you on the next video. Bye.